A stay-at-home mom uploaded this adorable video of her toddler riding his bike around his father's plane. And the very next day, their entire family died in a plane crash. The Leroy family was the picture-perfect family living in Idaho. Justine was a stay-at-home mom who loved making TikToks with her son. He especially enjoyed showing off her life and husband, who was a private pilot and owned a single-engine Mooney M20 small plane. Just one day after she uploaded that video showing a simple happy day with her family, she and her family boarded that plane and took off from Nampa Airport. Their flight only made it 3 kilometers before they began circling low to the ground and then took a nosedive into a residential neighborhood. Although no one on the ground was injured, all 3 family members died in that plane crash. While their family is trying to grieve, they simply cannot, because trolls have taken to the internet to dig up information about their family, and you won't believe what they found. They found photos and videos of Justine wearing a MAGA hat in support of President Donald Trump. And when commenters noticed this, they began to leave cruel comments celebrating the family's death. The comments were so disgusting that Justine's brother had to step in and leave a comment defending his sister.
I am completely disgusted by human behavior. You know, the day I realized that people are willing to celebrate someone's death just because of differing opinions, whether it may be their opinion when it comes to the dating world. It was with Kevin Samuels. The first time Kevin Samuels died, and you had all the black women cheering and just writing some of the most disrespectful things because they disagreed with his stances and what he had to say because he hurt their feelings. I realized, like, okay, there are people out here who, if they disagree with you, they want you to die. And realizing that these are everyday people. These aren't extremists like you would think or expect. No, these are just regular people who have regular jobs, who wish death upon other people, who have different opinions from them. That's when I started to realize the real hatred and evil that exists out here on the internet. Like, really started to realize why something like this can definitely be possible.
Bro, I would like to ask everybody to please stop saying my sister and her family deserves death because of her political views. I personally did not agree with her, but she's still my sister. What do you think of this story? A beautiful family died, and all anyone can think of is the fact that they supported Donald Trump, and they're hating them for it.
Right.
Is that really fair? Leave a comment to let me know. I'm Tiarka with the T. Follow for more.
Yeah. Pure evil, man. Of course, I'm curious to know what you guys think. Let's check out a few of these comments. Top comment here says, RIP Leroy's family. What an awful tragedy. Somebody else who says, I'm not sure I could ever celebrate someone's death because of political views. I just can't. Another person who says, the party of kindness and compassion, by the way. Somebody else here added, this is so sad. Somebody else here added, that poor baby did not deserve to die. So obviously this person is trying to imply that the other adult parents deserved that. Engaged or soon-to-be married men, getting a prenup doesn't have to be confusing. At fathershaverights.com, we break everything down in plain, simple English so you feel in control from day one. Here's one of our 5-star reviews from Logan. I didn't know much about prenups before, but the way everything was explained made it easy to understand. It didn't feel overwhelming or super legal heavy. It was just real advice that actually made sense. I feel way more secure going into marriage now. Grab the guide for the price of a couple of dinner dates by clicking the pinned link in the comments and join the hundreds of future husbands securing their marriages the right way. You know, the first thing I think about when I see people who get online and can make these type of hateful comments of wishing complete death on somebody else just because they disagree with them, as I look at myself and say, do we all have some of that in us? And I believe we all have a capacity to get to this place. And my only thought is like, God, I hope I never get to the place where I look at somebody who I disagree with and actually wish death on them. Now, can I look at somebody I disagree with and maybe say, I think that person may be doing something that's idiotic? When I look back, have I seen myself cross the line or maybe laugh at things that I maybe wish I shouldn't have laughed at? That's happened here or there. But wishing death on somebody because I disagree with them, not so much. And I like to make sure I maintain that. I do think that if you're going to be any type of a public figure, you're going to be in the online space at all, and you're going to have strong opinions that may be polarizing to the current culture, then you just have to accept that some people are going to have a deep appreciation or even maybe even love for what you do. And some people are going to hate you, and even some of them be happy when you die. I think at the end of the day, you could make an argument that every great man, no matter whether you thought what they did was good or bad, whether they were a good force or bad force in this world, has had people who've either actively sought to destroy and take their life or been happy at their demise or death, right? There's that as well.
This video is going to offend exactly who it's supposed to offend. But if you're the kind of person who hears the news about an entire family losing their life in a tragic airplane accident in Idaho most recently, and your first reaction is to run and try to figure out if they are Trump supporters or not so you can decide if you care or not, you are not the good person that you might even think you are. You need to do some serious soul searching and look in the mirror because something is seriously wrong with you. We've seen that reaction most recently to the news of the Leroy family, all three of them, the father Brandon, the wife Justine, and their toddler Paxton. They all passed away in a tragic airplane accident. And if you go on social media and look at comments from individuals, you'll see so many comments from individuals who are on the left side of the aisle, mind you, who claim to be the party of love and tolerance and acceptance and so on and so forth. And they are saying the most awful, despicable things about this family just because this family chose to be Trump supporters. Even the brother of the wife of this family who passed away, he went to social media himself and said, look, I'm her brother. I disagreed with her political views, but I'm still going to mourn her. I'm still going to grieve. And there's people who are actively celebrating this loss of life. How callous, how messed up of a person do you have to be to make that be how you act in your own personal life? I don't understand why that's the case. I'm not going to sit here and say it doesn't happen on the right side of the aisle as well, because we have seen that behavior on our side of the aisle as well, but it happens far too frequently and far too often from the left side of the aisle. About a year ago, Sheila Jackson Lee, a Democrat representative here in Houston, she passed away from pancreatic cancer. And I did not choose to take that time to say, oh, yay, she's gone, right? Because I have basic human decency and empathy. I have some sort of moral compass whatsoever. Even if I disagree with someone vehemently politically, I'm not going to be the one sitting up here on social media celebrating when they do pass away. You know why? Because that's how normal people act. What's going to happen in 50 years from now? Are you going to find out, oh, so-and-so passed away, and then run and try to figure out, oh, did they support Trump 50 years ago? Is that how purposeless and meaningless your life truly will have become if that is how you choose to use your time? So if you are a person out there and you chose to celebrate this tragic loss of life, do some looking in the mirror. That's the one thing you need to do, and actually figure out why you are this way and how you can fix it before it's too late. Those are my thoughts, and I'm hopeful you agree.
Let's read a few more comments here. Somebody else here says, I miss the days where you can vote for whoever you wanted to and still be kind. The whole cancel culture attacking people says more about the people doing than the other side. Somebody else who says, evil eye. People were hating on her life. Another person who says, I want to know what happened to the plane to make it crash. Somebody else who says, what does their political choices have to do with anything? Yeah, what I personally do believe is that God sees all. Laugh at an innocent baby and a family losing their life, I believe, is sort of cursing your own life in a certain way.
I fear that we have lost the plot, because why did this entire family just die, yet the only thing people can focus on is whether they deserve sympathy or not based on who they voted for? This is the Leroy family, and they were from Eagle, Idaho. And just a few days after the mom, Justine, posted this TikTok, the whole family passed away in a plane crash in Nampa, Idaho.
This is what's left here in Nampa of that plane crash that happened here last night around 5:40 p.m. We do know that 3 people have sadly died in that plane crash.
And as y'all can see, that's their same family plane from the TikTok there. Now, luckily, nobody on the ground was hurt. However, there is still an investigation underway to figure out what happened.
By the way, guys, I should say that I'm not sure how real this video actually is. And when I say real, the video actually is, I'm talking about the plane crash, right? We are at the point right now where people are using AI videos to add more context and visuals to a real situation. Just to be clear, this is a real story. I've verified it. And there is actually a picture of the plane crash. I'm only saying this because I saw a comment that says, look at the hands of a certain photo. They had a photo on there, and AI doesn't really do well with the hands, but the story's real. Let's keep listening.
there. Now, luckily, nobody on the ground was hurt. However, there is still an investigation underway to figure out what happened. Witnesses reported the plane circling unsteadily at low altitude before plummeting. The husband and wife, Brandon and Justine, died at the scene, whereas their 23-month-old son, Paxton, died at the hospital. At
That's so
first,
sad,
everyone
man.
was offering their condolences, but then others did some research and found out that the parents were Republicans. Justine, who was also a stay-at-home mom, was very active on social media, and people were quick to find her Election Day post wearing the infamous red hat. Now you have some people who believe that the family no longer deserves sympathy because of who they voted for, and it got so bad to where a family member of Justine's had to come and make this comment. They wrote, "Hello, Justine was my sister, and I would just like to please ask everyone to stop saying that she and her family deserve death because of her political views. I personally did not agree with her, but she's still my sister, and I will continue to grieve the loss of her life." I need to know what y'all think about this, because I completely understand not wanting to date, befriend, or even like somebody because of their political views. But are we now at a point in our society to where sympathy is only given to people whose political views are the same as ours? You know what I'm saying? Because at this point, the whole family is gone. So does it really matter who they voted for?
Wild. Hey guys, as always, I appreciate you for checking out yet another episode of the Coffee Pod. To my currently engaged or soon to be married men, if you need a prenup and would like a guide that shows you how to get a solid and legally binding prenuptial agreement, hit the link pinned to the top of the comment section and access your guide at fathershaverights.com today.